Hi, my name's Nikita Lewis, and this is my final project presentation for VCT 4670 with Kelly's K9s being my client. So, about Kelly's K9s, it is a dog walking company based out of Rocky River, Ohio, which is about 10 to 15 miles outside of Cleveland on the west side. It's a small local business, and she's just really wanting to expand into the surrounding Cleveland areas. So the visual communication problem was that Kelly had absolutely no branding whatsoever. So when I first met her and we were talking about the project, I did ask her, well, do you have anything to base off of, or how do you want to change it? And she handed me a business card that you could tell was made at home. And it didn't really stand out. It was only black and white. It was one-sided. It had clip art on it. And she used Comic Sans. So I could definitely tell that I had a lot to work with and a lot of room because we were pretty much starting from scratch. So knowing this, most of her communication was mouth to mouth. Just because she only had business cards. She had nothing really to leave, like a brochure at a business for people to pick up and learn more about her company. So I really wanted to build on that because when wanting to expand, you can't always be places all the time. So it's really important to take something and be able to leave something at that business or area that people can pick up when you're not there. So the desired conditions, she really wanted to be able to expand her client base and have more of the marketing materials placed, handed out, and posted around the Cleveland area. So kind of like how I touched on, she just really wanted to be able to go to a business and leave something there for people to be able to pick up, because she really wanted to expand to all areas of Cleveland, from the west side to inner city to the east side. So by being able to have those, she didn't need to be there all the time. But to be able to create these and have people want to pick them up and want to look at them, we really had to show a fun and trustworthy side, but also a professional side. So since the business deals with animals, we thought that it was really important to show a fun side, kind of portraying that she'll play with your dog, she'll take them on walks, she'll really enjoy spending time with them, that she wasn't going to be kind of a stickler in the sense of lock your dog in a crate all day, yell at them, because people are really passionate about their animals. So we wanted to make sure that we portrayed a fun side and a animal loving side, but also a very professional side that showed that she's very trustworthy, should take really good care of your animals, and you would feel more than okay to leave your animals in her hands for just maybe even a dog walking, or she does do boarding, so you could leave them there for a week. So overall, we just had to have various forms of promotional marketing materials that would allow her to expand her business outside her normal and consistent client base to expand into the surrounding communities of Rocky River. So the goals and objectives, again, were to create a marketing and branding packet. And this packet would include the following items: the logo, a business card, an informational brochure, and a letterhead. All of these components will work together and will allow her to expand her business in different ways. I'm going to touch on that a little later when I go over each individual aspect of the marketing packet. So first, we're talking about the logo. We first had to discuss how to bridge the gap between the client's current condition and desired condition. So this was really important for her, mainly because she didn't really have a current condition when it came to design. She had more of a current condition of what was happening with her business and what she wanted to do with her business later in the future. So we had to determine a specific feel or vibe that she wanted. So when portraying her business with her not being present, we really had to pick a specific feel that she wanted people to understand and realize when they picked up a material. So I first started off by researching other dog walking companies for ideas, just to kind of slowly gather some information, especially because this wasn't a business that you normally work with. It was kind of off the wall, so I really wanted to see what other people were doing in dog walking companies in today's society, not just in Cleveland, but everywhere. I then designed multiple mock-ups of the logo, and she decided upon one of the logo designs. She then would get back to me and indicate any revisions or changes, and then we'd finalize the logo and move on to the next aspect of the marketing packet. So here are some examples of the process that I found. These are some of the inspirational pieces that I found on the internet, Google, sites, and anything you could think of just to kind of get an idea of what I wanted to do with the company logo and some sketches I had originally done. And here's the solution. Originally, I'd only proposed the 3 with the same dog silhouette, but eventually over time, she said she really didn't like the silhouette, so she picked her favorite, and I modified it, which is the one in the top left corner. So at the end, I eventually proposed 4 different logos. And as you can see, for the final design, the logo actually changed again with the dog silhouette. She thought that it looked too much like a calf or a cow, so she really wanted to pick a dog that was more standing up than sitting down. So even though I didn't propose this dog silhouette, it did end up being the final design. What I ended up doing was sending her the silhouettes that you saw 2 slides back when I showed the process, and I sent that to her and said, which one do you like? And she sent back this one, so I just put it in there and placed it. Next was the business card. For the process, again, I researched other dog walking, dog grooming, anything that dealt with dogs and animals, just to kind of see what their business cards were like. And then I designed the multiple mock-ups of the business cards, which now included the new branding standards, which were identified from the logo with the colors, the fonts, the dog silhouette, and everything like that. We then decided upon one business card design, again, revisions and changes, and then finalized the business card. So here's some of the process work, again, that I did. Here are some of the examples that I found that I really liked, and some of the mock-up drawings of what I was going to design. And here's my solution. On the left is the front and the right is the back. So they are 2-sided and they're full color. I think that really keeps people's attention, and also no matter what way they sit in a business card holder, it still catches your eye because of the colors. So again, I proposed 3 different ones and she chose her favorite. And here's the final design. And as you can see, again, the logo had to change, and she actually decided to combine a front of one and a back of another. So this one wasn't actually a mock-up, but it was super simple to do, especially in InDesign. I just pulled it, put it together, and I had to actually take one phone number off of there because she didn't want her non-business phone being on the card. Next was the informational brochure. So this was the process. Again, we researched other dog walking, dog grooming companies, just like we did for the business card. And I designed multiple mock-ups. So again, I included all the new branding standards, but this time I also had to include photos of all dog sizes, meaning anything from a Yorkie to a Great Dane. She does everything and anything, so she really wanted to show that through the brochure. And we had to make sure they were professional, high quality, and just looked really nice. We didn't want any bad-looking photos that looked like they were taken on a cell phone, or maybe, something that was taken on vacation that didn't look right, or something that was in a back seat of a car, something like that. So, again, we decided upon one brochure design, did the revisions, and finalized it. So here was the second part of my process, was to pull up other ideas that I had and send them and make my drawings. And here's the solution I came up with. Since brochures are a lot more work than a business card and logos, I actually only sent 2 of them. So the left side is the front and the fold in the back panel, and the one on the right is all the inside panels. So as you can see, I kind of threw in pictures of different dogs, changed where the logos were, but I kept the same colors of the logos, and all I did was bring the tint of the colors down to make it more easy to read on those backgrounds. So everything's still branded the same colors and everything like that. So the final design she picked was the brown one, and as you can tell, I kind of put a little bit of texture in the background before I threw the color on top, just to kind of make it look like a little fancier paper, even if it's not printed on fancy paper. So this was really fun to do. I really enjoyed it. Next and lastly was the letterhead. Again, researching was very important because letterheads are something that are very professional, And they're meant to send out, newsletters, things like that. So I still wanted to keep the funness of the company, but also put a professional side on it, because normally when you get paper in the mail, it's something vital, something important, or something that really needs to be read. So I had to make sure that it was fun, professional, but also didn't battle or overshine the information that she wanted to write on the piece of paper. So I designed the multiple mock-ups again, included the new branding standards. She decided upon one, said any revisions or changes she had, and then finalized the letterhead design. So here is my process. I found a few online that I really liked, that I thought were pretty professional but also looked really nice and kind of kept the feel of the company. So I drew some quick layout sketches of kind of where I wanted things to be. And here are my two solutions. I, again, changed around where the logo was placed, but I liked the bar at the bottom to kind of indicate, here's my contact information, and it really made it stand out. And I kind of just took two different approaches to it, with the paws and then the dog at the bottom. And the final design winner was the dog at the bottom. She said she just really liked how the dog at the top carried through with the dog at the bottom. So this one was pretty fun to do also. So the lessons learned in this, I would definitely say don't get emotional. It was really upsetting when she would come back and say, well, this really wasn't what I was thinking, or it's not what I was envisioning. I don't really like them. And you have to realize that not everybody is going to like your designs, and I think critiques really prepare you for that. But when it's somebody that you haven't worked with, or, not your VCT students with you, it does get really hurtful, because you put a lot of time and effort into those, and you were very proud of them, and then you realize that maybe they don't like them. Time management and organization, huge in this project. There's a lot to do, and there's not a lot of time, and it's really important to make sure you stay on task, follow that timeline, and follow through and get it done. I finally realized the importance of consistent branding. I fully understand that it's a very important thing, but during the surveying that we had to do, I thought it was really interesting to see how many people commented that they realized there was branding between each material and that they liked that. And how they said, oh, well, if I saw this logo on this and then saw it again on this piece of paper, I would know that's the same company. And that was really nice to see how people really enjoyed that and to hear that, because it's not something that you hear a lot about. You understand consistent branding is important, but to hear people comment on consistent branding was really interesting to hear. Communication, so important between you and your client. Oh my gosh, I am so thankful and happy I got such a good client who was so responsive, so nice, so polite. It was just fantastic. I could not imagine having a bad client who didn't get back to me or kept changing things. I really appreciate communication and them getting back to me. It's very important. Open-mindedness. It's really difficult, again, almost like with going emotional, that you have to realize that they're not doing it to hurt your feelings. They're doing it because it is for their company, and you would be doing the same thing if you're in their shoes. So I really learned that giving professional opinions is a good idea. For example, she really wanted to use this photo in her informational brochure that was of her dogs in the backseat of her car that she took on her iPhone. And I gave my professional opinion about it, and she really respected that. I wasn't sitting there and knocking down her idea of wanting to put her dogs in her brochure, but I was just explaining from a design standpoint why it wasn't a good idea to include those, and she really appreciated those. So I think if you learn how to approach it correctly, having an open mind and offering those professional opinions is a great idea. And lastly, research is so important to see what's on trend right now, what's happening, the colors, the fonts, the layouts, so important. And we can all remember back in print 1 how many of those thumbnails we had to do and sketches and researching and Googling, and we all probably hated it. But honestly, it makes our lives so much easier to research and figure out what's going on in the community. And I think that's a huge lesson that I learned, especially when graduating, to just take a minute and say, all right, maybe I should research something, especially with a company like a dog walking company that you don't really see branding themselves all that often. So, in conclusion, I found out that this was a very time consuming project. I didn't end up finishing ahead of schedule, which was absolutely fantastic. But if I wasn't on myself, like with my lessons learned, with my schedule and things, it would never have happened. It's a great portfolio piece. I enjoyed it so much. I just thought it was so awesome to create this whole new branding packet. It just expanded my knowledge and design skills so far, and I'm really excited to get her approval to put it in my portfolio. Additionally, it created more practice interacting with clients. You do that a little bit in your co-ops, but I think that since this was more of a freelance kind of idea, I think it was really important to learn how to build those relationships, keep up the communication, and interact with the clients on a whole new level. Additionally, the community interaction was so fun and so awesome. I just thought that I would never be able to hear those comments coming from the community. You know, we design things all the time, and you hear it from your boss. Oh, that's great. Oh, I love it. But you never really hear what the community has to say about it. And I think that was the greatest thing about this, was being able to hear people praise your work or give you criticism in a good way, because now you're kind of seeing what the whole, a sample of the population thinks about it in your area. Overall, it was a great experience. I loved it. It was so positive. I thought this was the most fun class I've taken. It was so awesome to actually interact with customers and clients and people. And it was just a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. So overall, that was my project. I hope you all enjoyed it. And thank you so much.